Hey everybody, welcome to Craft of the Yeti. Over the past few months, I made a magnetic board for skirmish and wargames like Frostgrave and Mordheim. Step number 1 in our adventure is to get more XPS foam from our local hardware store. I also spent some time finding an okay-ish priced sheet of metal that was magnetic. I found these sheets near the duct section of the store, and despite my clumsiness, the magnets still stuck. Once we got home, I needed to cut things down to size. I chose to make this game board 3 foot by 3 foot, as I mostly play solo Frostgrave. This size is also big enough that I can play games with a friend or two without too much congestion. The metal sheets I purchased were 3 feet by about 2 feet, so I bought 2. Here I am attaching them with sticky tack so that I can cut the metal to match the XPS foam. I flip everything over. Off camera, I struggled quite a bit to make this actually work, and then mark a line with an Expo marker. I then cut the extra sheet with tin snips. I used some Loctite construction adhesive to bond the metal to the XPS foam. I had to look through a bunch at my hardware store to find an adhesive that was good for both metal and foam board. I applied the glue with a caulk gun and then laid down the metal. Sorry for the lighting here. I was outdoors and the reflective surface of the metal sheet made things difficult for my camera. To weigh things down, I used some spare 2x4s and some heavy objects. You know, like cat litter. The observant of you may have already seen this little test section on the metal. I wasn't sure if I was going to go dirt or sand or foam bricks. I glued a test spot of each onto the metal and made sure the magnets in my minis were strong enough to hold. The metal is a very bright and shiny chrome, and I don't want that to show up beneath any of the ground I'll be laying on the board. We are going to remedy that with a dark brown spray paint. Knowing spray paint can eat foam, I taped off the sides with painter's tape. Then cut the surplus off with an X-Acto knife. I used Espresso by Rust-Oleum, and it worked wonders. After much deliberation, I decided I wanted to make a stone floor for the board. I also have another side, so I can add a dirt or sand textured floor to that side later if I'd like. I milled more bricks that I can easily count on my hot wire table. They were about 2 centimeters by 1 centimeter and varied a few millimeters in depth. I would not have taken this project on without a hot wire table. It's doable, but would have made this very long process much, much longer. I filled this old container full of XPS bricks. More than once. Next, we texture the bricks. I've shown this in other videos, and many other crafters use the same method. Rocks, tumble, boom, texture. With the texturing done, all that was left to do was lay bricks. I attached them using tacky glue. I went through an entire bottle during this project. Lots and lots of bricks to go. I'm going to take a break from talking a bit here. Enjoy the montage. and done. I love that the bricks have slightly different heights. It adds quite a bit to the board. With a fresh blade, I cut off the excess bricks. This was very satisfying. Now, onto the painting. For the base coat, I used a ton of watered down Mod Podge mixed with burnt umber from Apple Barrel. I'm adding Mod Podge to the mix because I want the added durability it provides. I went over everything with the base coat twice using a foam brush. I made sure that all the cracks and crevices were covered. The next coat was a gray color mixed with a little bit of brown. Here I'm not getting 100% coverage, but I am covering most of the bricks and allowing some of that previous base coat to come through. The bricks were looking too samey, so I grabbed a few brownish colors and started painting random bricks those colors. This added quite a bit of time to the build, but I definitely think it was worth it. Next, I added a very dark brown wash made of inks and water. We can start to see the texturing pop with the wash. It was at this point I started to get really excited for the finished project. The final stage was to dry brush everything in a khaki color. Some places intentionally had more dry brushing than others to add more variety. Right as I was wrapping up the build, I saw a post on Reddit where someone had added framing to the outside of their game board. I loved the idea, so off camera, I cut some trim, painted it black, and attached it to the edges of the board. Before I added this, a few of the bricks got nicked and had to be fixed off camera. I also just like the way the frame looks. I plan on releasing a video showing how I built the ruined building. The other two buildings are the very first things I ever crafted for TTRPGs. The nice thing about a magnetic board is I can have it just like this for Mordheim, or I can add some magnetic snow drifts for Frostgrave. Thanks a ton for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe for more.